Hey guys, I'm Jamie Little. So while you're hanging out, we're hanging out. We wanted to bring in one of the most fun guys, best personality. He's a three-time Top Fuel champion, Mr. Antron Brown. How are you?
Jamie, I'm doing good. Just getting through these times. I've been kind of doing it all. No more like landscaper, gardener. I've been weed eating. I've been lawn mowing. Shoot, I'm ready to open up my own landscaping business. No yard too far or too small.
Look at you. You already have your slogan. So when you're on the lawnmower, do you have a riding lawnmower?
Yes, yes, yes.
So do you
I
try
have
to
this.
race that thing, like beat your own time from the previous lawn mowing session?
I have. You know what? It's so funny. I time myself. The first time I did, I couldn't get the pattern down like I wanted. It literally took me like 40 minutes to cut my grass. Last time I cut it 32:58. I pulled it
Dang.
down. I was like,
That is hilarious. I think you need to get your wife or your kids to video this because that could be pretty funny.
my wife took pictures and I didn't even know she even put them on Facebook. She put them on Facebook, James, and people are calling me up saying, "Hey, B, man, what you gonna come put some stripes in my lawn?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" Like, I don't even know where they're getting it from. And my wife was posting on Facebook, and I started laughing. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I got you now. I got you."
Nothing is safe in this quarantine time. There are cameras and microphones everywhere, and our own family members will out us.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. My daughter, my sons, and it's been going stir crazy, but we've been making the most of this quarantine time because we're really bonding as a family. And I never realized for so long, like you think you really know your kids, but you really don't know them until you spend day after day after day, like every minute of the day. And I'm finding some interesting stuff out, like about my daughter who's 18, about
My
my
goodness.
son who's 15. Like, I'm finding out some, like, these jokers I always thought they were innocent and good, and they got some sneakiness to them.
Really? Well, dad's like traveling all the time. So when you're home for a couple days a week, they're probably like little angels and all is good. Dad leaves, they all go back to it. And you're like, what do you mean they're doing this or that bad? Now you're seeing the reality.
Oh yes, I am, I'm cracking that whip. I'm cracking that whip, and the funny part is they're not liking me home because I give them something to do each and every day. Like, every day they've got, it's not a chore. It's actually, they got to work. They got to work. Those Rubucks and those Minecraft dollars credits. They're not cheap. They got to work for them. Like, little man's got to work. Cause Dad, what can I do next? I said, "Man, these windows are dirty around the house, man. Here's some Windex and here's go wash the windows."
That is awesome. Dad's a landscaper, the kids, it's all going to be a family business. I see what you're building here.
Yes, yes, we're gonna go down once they let us loose, and we're gonna go from door to door and say, "Hey, the Browns management services is available. We can make it happen. What you need? What you need? What you need? What you need?"
That is awesome. Okay, so we actually live pretty close to each other. I live in Carmel, so we're kind of the northwest area of Indianapolis, and you're in
Mhm.
Brownsburg, the west side. My father-in-law lives over there. Awesome area, but what are you doing? Just, I know you said what you're doing to stay busy there, but I know you're into fitness. So what are you doing for workouts these days?
Well, the thing is that I actually train at a place right here in Brownsburg called V-Fit with a gentleman named Morris Virgil. And it's pretty cool because it's athletic training. We do a lot of, like, we warm up right, like, because the older you get, you know, you got to stay in shape, but you got to warm up right. You got to get them limbs moving right so you don't get hurt. And so we do a lot of dynamic stretching, and then we go into some plyometric stuff, but then we're just doing interval training. Like, you could do it in your driveway, and we're doing it via remote now, like, just like through Zoom or through Instagram. And like, he's doing live feeds where he's posting it, where we're doing 45-minute workouts. And then I'll do other stuff during the day, like going cycling, like riding my road bike, or mountain biking with the kids down the road here, because we live out in the boondocks. So it's really, really like we say Brownsburg, but we live on the north side of Brownsburg and Pittsburgh, like near Whitestown. And it's just like there's nothing out here. Like I see cattle out in my backyard, you know what I mean? So
That is awesome.
it's awesome till the wind blows the wrong way. And you're like,
Heck yeah, I know exactly the area. But how, for me, I work out at home anyway. I do something with sandbags, brute force sandbags, and my husband and I work out in the garage, and that's how we stay fit. I've sworn by it for 3 years now. But it's so cool to see the interest, you know, raised by people that are used to going to the gym all the time, like I used to be. I thought that was the only way I could work out. And now people are seeing the workouts that I do, the workouts that all of us are doing, and they're getting interested. How cool is that for people to learn this new way that you really can do it all right here at home?
yeah, like, and they never realize that you don't have to have a treadmill. You don't have to have like a whole massive amount of weights and stuff like that, where you could use your own body weight and work so many muscles out of just doing a burpee, you know what I mean? Or mountain climbers, going to the ground doing mountain climbers, doing jump jacks and doing squats, or just leaning up against the wall and getting in the, like, you know, in a sitting position and just sit there for a minute until like
start shaking,
until your legs go on fire, you know what I mean? So there's so many different unique things you could do, and then walking lunges, and it's just so much stuff. Like when you're seeing it, it motivates people, and you're actually in more physical shape, endurance shape. Like you don't have to look like the bodybuilder, you know what I mean? Like I think the healthy look like Jamie. I look at you all the time, and I've been knowing you for years, and you're just like just cut in like physical shape, and it's like you look good, and you like, and you see people go, I look like Jamie Little, like, you know what I mean? Like my wife looks at you, she goes, you don't look like Jamie. I said, well, Jamie just saying to smile. I said, that girl works. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta work to eat them cupcakes. Cause that's all my kid talked about. I want some of them cupcakes, girl.
So it's nothing but cakes. We're here in Indy, and that's actually what we've been doing during the quarantine. Honestly, we've been able, because we're an essential business, we're food. So we've been doing tons of deliveries. And by we, I mean me and my husband, and we've been bringing the kids. Of course, it's non-contact delivery. So you literally take it up to the front doorstep, ring the doorbell, and you wave on your way out. And that has been keeping us busy. And we're so thankful that we've been able to stay busy. But people love cake.
I got my pad. You got to give me like, so do we have to go on, do you have an app, or do we have to go to your website? Like where do we have to go to?
Nothingbuncakes.com, and then you put in your zip code, we'll pop up and we'll deliver to you. And I'm telling you, it's the best cake. That's why we opened this franchise. And it's nationwide. But you know what I'm learning through this, Antron? It's been cool. I had a birthday last week. So many people are celebrating quarantine birthdays. So they still want a cake. They still want to celebrate at home. They put the signs out front. They have people drive by and celebrate. It's been so cool to see how creative we've all been.
Yes, and speaking about that, the coolest part is that I've been watching my wife. And my wife, she's even been on local news around town here and different stuff like that. She created like a room on Facebook, like a page on Facebook for actually adopting seniors, where, because the seniors don't get to graduate this year. They don't get to, they don't have a prom. They don't even know if they're going to walk up an aisle and get their diploma. That's what they go to school, literally, for 12 years of their life to actually, this is their moment. And my daughter is a senior. That's why my wife was so into it. And she created a page where people are adopting seniors, where seniors will sign up, and people can actually, they'll put little baskets together to give the different seniors and different people of that nature, and they're going to drop them off, deliver them so they can be appreciated. And you can see the people dressing up in their suits, their prom dress, and saying, hey, this is what I'm gonna look like when I go to a prom or a deal. And eventually everybody have a get together. Yeah. And then they're chiming in. My wife's on the other hand, and we've been fully supportive, where her and my daughter have been sewing face masks every day, like from 8 in the morning until like 9 at night. Like my wife's up till like 1 in the morning, and they're producing masks with different designs that she's giving out to people. And all they can want to give a donation just for material, so they can actually keep making more. And
That is
it's
so
been
cool.
pretty awesome, pretty awesome.
That's what this time really should be all about, right? Is just doing for others the good stuff, the good stories. I mean, I know that I'd rather do that stuff, give away, and just make people's day more than anything else. I just love it. If you have a birthday and you need a cake, I'm your girl. We love hooking people up because I just love to see the joy. A lot of people are going through a tough time right now. A lot of people lost their jobs. They're dealing with a lot of issues and bills, and if they get something that makes their day, your wife makes a basket for their child or a cake brightens their day, that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. It's just how we get through it together. That's why I tell people each and all the time. And everybody always wants to focus on the doom and gloom. And for me, we choose to look at all the positive things that can come out of this and how we can come together as a community and support one another to get through it. And through businesses, like we got guys in our shop, like our guys in our shop is a guy named Mike Anderson. Is so funny. He was one of our CNC operators in our shop. So everything's shut down. Well, Mike has a landscaping business. Like he does it on the side. Like, you know, it's not like a big, this is like his thing he does. Like he has a job but he's not getting paid any money. You know what I mean? He's getting nothing in. So I said, well, Mike, man, I need some help around my yard. So my normal landscaping company, I say, hey, bro, I'm putting you on hold because I'm like family helps family right now because they got plenty of other accounts that they're doing. And I go, well, Mike, man, come over to the house, man. Let's do this. I got some stone I want to pull around the pole barn. I want to put some new trees in, some plants in. And I need to cut all my new beds in around my house. And we need to put mulch in. And we did 13.5 yards of mulch around my house. And my boy Brad, that's my assistant crew chief on the race team, he came over and helped out too. So it was like 3 men. I was cutting the grass, doing all that. I was putting Roundup on the area that we had to put stone on, and they're putting the mat down. I mean, we had a fiasco going on in here for the last 2.5 days. And you talking about workout? I didn't do no work. I did manual labor for the last 2.5 days, and I got pain, Jamie, in places I never knew I could get pain in.
Working on Top Fuel dragsters to mulch together. Now that's a story.
Yes. And I told him, I said, the wind's blowing a little bit, 5.5 mile an hour this way. I believe you have to throw the mulch up in the air this way so it can drift and glide down and hit the perfect patch at this trajectory right here. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, you are killing me. Hey, so speaking of team, so this year, a little bit of change for you, and you guys actually did get a couple races under your belt. So tell me about the start to the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Pomona didn't go the way that we wanted to in Pomona, but we've getting off. I got my crew chief back, part of the team, Brian Karate, who we won literally like 47 races together with him, Mark, and Brad together. And we got him back, and we're starting back to get our car back on the right foot because we're building for something special. And what I mean by something special is that hopefully, like, we're doing this together where we have ABM that's coming abroad, which is AB Motorsports. And a lot of people always thought that meant Antron Brown. But for me, like, as a medium means all brother motorsports, because that's what I call my guys. We're brothers. I call them brother. You know, you around me all the time, Jamie. You hear me call people, "What's up, brother? What you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, with family. And but these guys are truly my family. And what we're doing, we're trying to build something special. And I'm trying to go to that next level where I want to have a small knit race team. Like, you know, it's been great for me to be part of Don Schumacher Racing for all these years, won a lot of races, championships, and stuff like that. But I'm looking at the next deal going forward where, okay, what does AB want to do next? Well, I want to be able to build a team and maybe have 2 race teams total, like a funny car team and a fuel team, and then be able to look at talent coming abroad, like how I came into the sport and going and giving this new kid a shot. You get what I mean? And not seeing the same people just have the same rides in our sport. Our sport needs that new energy. You know what I mean? Like, we need the new people coming in, like a Bubba Wallace, you know what I mean? Or like a Haley Deegan and stuff like that, where you see new talent and going, we want this. And I say, you know, I want to have the next guy coming in and go, hey, I want the new Justin Ashley. Boom, get him and put him in my car.
Yeah.
And that's something for me down the road. I'm just preparing myself for when I have to step away from, like, you know, driving, which is no time soon. But you got to think along those lines of, you know, the Don Schumachers, the Connie Colettas, and the John Forces are not going to be around here forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just want to be the next one to actually help the sport continue on and give other people the opportunity that I had to come in and do this thing that I love, and that's drag race.
That's awesome. And you see Toyota on your shirt. Toyota, when you look at what they've done in NASCAR, bringing up talent, and they
Mhm.
scout talent like I've never seen before. And when it comes to who's the future of NASCAR, all you have to do is look in the lower divisions and see where are the females, where are the diversity drivers, where are the young kids that are like 8, 9, 10 years old. Toyota's already got their eye on the next talent. And we've seen Kyle Busch do the same thing. If they're winning at the Xfinity level right now, the truck series, chances are they've been in a KBM truck before, or they've driven for Kyle at some point and he's found them. Is that something or someone that you kind of look to, like, I want to do that? I want to physically go out and scout and look at who's next.
Absolutely, because as you know, I race junior dragsters with my kids, and we raced in a highly competitive series called the Midwest Junior Super Series. That's all here in the Midwest, from St. Louis to Ohio, all the way down to Kentucky. But we have people that come race in our series from Georgia, from Tennessee,
Wow.
Texas. They drive up to race our series, where it's the best of the best kids in the country, probably in the world, pretty much. And I'm seeing these kids come up, and I can name a couple names off, like Matt Sackman that works on our team. That's where he came from. That's how he got to work on our team. Tyler Allison, Devin Eisenhower. And Devin Eisenhower in our series, like, you know, he won championships in our Midwest series. His first year out of juniors, he went into the sportsman ranks and he won a world championship in super gas out in the home country.
Wow.
So you're seeing these kids come out, and I'm seeing them at an early age. I'm like, and they're telling me, well, they call me Mr. Antron. I start laughing. I said, just call me Antron. It's okay. Mr. Antron, Mr. Antron. And I'm like, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I could see this girl here in my car, in my race car. She's that sharp. And I can see, look at this boy over here. I'm like, and they're impressing me at the early age, because these kids are winning with thousand of a second packages where they can't break out. Like, they know the game, and they're 12 years old. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing them. And then when they get 16, 17, and they get old enough to go to big car racing, they jump in big cars and they're taking out the big names that won championships year after year like they're nothing. And they're young kids. And I'm like, we need more of this in the top of the series. They go into the sportsman level, but we need more of that in the alcohol series, the pro mod series, and develop it into nostalgia, funny car and dragster series and ultra series, where we could take them in and move them and migrate them up into the fuel ranks, where we can have more racers, more teams out there. And I think that's what's going to help make our sport really go to that next level.
You know, it's interesting. I just interviewed Danica Patrick the other day for a new series called Off Track with myself. And Danica and I talked about that I always get that question. I'm sure you do too. Where's the next driver coming from? Where's the next Danica Patrick or next Antron Brown? And my answer is, they're out there. It's just a matter of somebody taking a chance on them. Danica Patrick wouldn't be Danica Patrick if Bobby Rahal didn't say, you know what, I'm going to give this girl a shot and put money behind her and put her in the Indy 500, put her in the Toyota Atlantic Series. And it's because of him that she was able to do what she does. And yes, she's skilled and talented, and that carried her. But it takes somebody saying, like you, hey, I'm going to give you a chance in my car. And that's so important to have people like you.
Well, and it's so crucial to actually growing things that's around us. And I feel interest in that, because it really gets my juices flowing and pumping up when I can see somebody that has that passion. Like, you know what I mean? That's the difference, because there's some that where people just, you know, some people come for money where they can be put in the car while they're doing it for fun. But it's a difference when you see somebody that has that want to and desire. You get what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't know why John Force is who he is. John Force is who he is because he has that want to and desire. But then you might see some other people that are just out there, and you're like, they're just out there to be out there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference. I want to bring those people in that I can see that has that want to, that has that gladiator personality, that the look. And And you speaking about Danica brings memories. I remember when she used to race go-karts, and she used to race quarter midgets. And I remember distinctly she came in my trailer when I was racing pro stock motorcycle back in the day. And this is like when she was like young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so funny. She came in our trailer and hung out, and she was there with her dad. And it was in Juliet in Chicago, Illinois. I remember like yesterday. It was so funny. And I saw the fire in that girl's eyes. And I was like, this girl ain't just no cute little girl. This girl is like for real. Like she had that attitude. She had that, like that attitude about her. Like, exactly. And I was like, this girl's going to do something. This girl's going to do something. And I remember I was racing for the U.S. Army, and she was sitting in a trailer. And I think she was racing a midget that year. I think she was sponsored by like Clorox or Tide or somebody like that. She was a blue car. I remember like yesterday she was telling us the ins and outs and what she really wants to do. And she was very energetic, and she was just like to the point. And like she was like, she wanted to make it happen. And Bobby Rahal saw that in her, and that's something that you can't instill in people. And I see that every day in those junior dragster ranks where it gets me excited, because I'm like, that's how I am. And when you see people that have that same determination and that heart, you're like, oh, they're going to be great, because they're so moldable, because they want it so bad. And you can actually mold them into what they need to be, because no more just winning races.
Yeah.
You got to do that full, you have to have that full, like that full pie. You got to be a good spokesperson. You got to have charisma. You can't have bad days around fans. You can show your emotion, because they like to see the emotion, because they want to know that you're that real person. But you've got to have that full gambit to be great now, like to actually be in this realm that we call motorsports. To go out there is not just winning races, is can you win off track too? That's the question.
Yeah, that's so true. That's what sets these guys apart, and girls. You can line them up and have 15 highly talented, very skilled, can all do the same thing behind the wheel. But what sets them apart is their personality. How do they treat people? How do they give back? Do they have that fire, that natural passion? And are they willing to work? I think that's the biggest thing.
Yes.
So
Want to.
Antron, tell me about your upbringing. And I know that it could be a very long story, but how you got to this point. I was looking into your background, and you actually started on dirt bikes, on mini bikes. So how did you end up going from 2 wheels to what you're doing today on 4?
You want to hear something funny, Jamie? I grew up racing motocross. I raced motocross hard at the amateur level. And
did you do like Loretta Lynn?
Yes, I was working hard to qualify to go to Loretta's and everything else like that. And I raced from the 80 cc's, and then I went into like the 125 novice, and I made it to go in 125 novice. And I was practicing hard one year, because when you race 125 novice at Loretta's, it's like racing the next class up is amateur. Was like racing amateur at your local level. And that's why I used to race. I used to race against all the amateur guys and some of the semi-pro guys around our area. So I could race Loretta's, because the novice class was that good at Loretta's. You get what I mean? And I was doing really good, where I won my local qualifier. I won my regional, and I was going, and I got hurt real bad practicing to go there, where we used to practice to get ready for the heat for Loretta's. We didn't have like the sweat, like the sweat gear. So we used to wear garbage bags over top of our race jerseys to actually make us sweat and like dehydrate, because that's the heat. Because you race down there at the ranch and down there in Loretta's in the middle of summer, like in August, is like blazing hot. You know what I mean? So
that's how you train, with the plastic.
That's how we train, because I lived in New Jersey. So like in May and June, we'll go out and train with garbage bags, and that's what all of our local good kids used to do. And you probably know, you heard names like Ronnie Feist.
Oh yeah, I know Ronnie well.
Well, me and Ronnie Feist grew up together. I used to race. He was younger than me by like a couple of years. And I remember when he first started racing, I used to give Ronnie my gear, my Fox gear, because I was bigger than him.
For people watching this right now, if you don't know who Ronnie Feist is, look him up. He's one of the he was one of the leaders of the freestyle motocross movement. He lived with Gary Hart for a long time. He's been in many movies. Like, he's a freak, but he's like come full circle and like doing
good Christian
things.
Dude.
Yes.
And his dad was, and you know what the funny part is, people used to see Ronnie with all the tattoos and everything, but he's always was a spiritual guy and
Yes.
like in martial arts. And it was so funny. His dad was a state trooper.
Yes, I remember that. He used to come to X Games.
Yes.
And I talked to his dad, and you're like, this is your kid? It was like, you know, he was friends with like Brian Deegan and all the bad boys.
Yes.
Ronnie was always such a good guy. And his tricks, he always did like, he always paid his respect, always did that. He was in, like you said, the martial arts. He always did like the Shaolin. Sorry, like getting too far off, but.
But no, it's not far. It's just what it's about. It's just like reminiscing, and a lot of people don't realize how a lot of us are intertwined and where we all come from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like me and Ronnie, like we were tight. He was really tight with my cousin Atootie. That's how I got into motocross. I had an older cousin named Atootie Stout, and he was really, really, really good. He could have went pro, but just like Tootie always got tired. He was as fast as anybody else on the racetrack, but he just got worn out and never had the endurance. And for me, that's the people who I followed. And I grew up racing like that, and I got hurt real bad. And my background, where I got my work ethic, is that my family, we owned a septic tank and excavating business. That's what we did. And my grandpa started it and gave my dad and uncle everything. And my dad and uncle, they were in drag racing, of course. That's how I got into drag racing before I was even born. Like, they raced the sportsman level, still do to this day. But my grandpa instilled something into all of us, to make a long story short, Jamie, is that he literally gave us whatever we want as long as we worked for it. And he goes, well, somebody want that, like, goes, I was there. He's the one that gave me a dirt bike when I was 4 years old. But then when I wanted to start racing, he goes, well, if you want to race, he goes, that racing bike costs a lot of money. He goes, you're going to work this whole summer, and then I'll buy it for you at the end of the summer. So I worked the whole summer, digging trenches, putting lines in, doing all that stuff, going pump septic tanks and clogging people's septic lines when they have blockages and stuff like that. He taught me all that at an early age, where I had to work. And it wasn't like you work for 2 hours and you come home and go play. No, when you worked, the truck left out at like 6:30 a.m. and you ain't come back home until 5 o'clock in the evening. Like, you got home at 5. But the light was still, you could not go out and play. And I was worn out and play. I always had to take a shower but
yeah, that's not just any job. My goodness, that's how bad you wanted it, though. You wanted that dirt bike. So
yes.
you mentioned it, though. So you're 4th generation drag racer, correct?
Yes.
So what are your memories growing up? I mean, did you know, like, I want to do this? Like, when you were little going to the racetrack, did you kind of just feel like you wanted to race?
You want to hear something funny? Drag racing, I was around it all the time at an early age and watched my dad, and that's all they did, where they're up all night long working on stuff all the time. And as a kid, you want to have fun, but they made me work all the time, where I despised drag racing when I first, when I was young. That's why I went to motocross, because it got me away from my dad and uncle, where I can actually, you do more time riding than working on stuff. As you see, drag racing, like you work on it more than you actually race it. You get what I'm saying? So when I was a kid, I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, that's all y'all do, take engines out, put engines in, put transmissions in, put clutches in, change tires, and they go 8 seconds. You know what I mean? Like I used to say that to my dad, but the older you got, the more respect you understood and that you got for it. You know what I mean? And for me, like, when I got older, when my dad started letting me like drive and do more things, you get what I mean? Say, just wiping it down and changing oil and help take parts on off the car, where I actually had a say so in it, is when I got interested in it and I started diving into it more. And that's when I felt a love for it, where you make little changes and you start making things and you had to make decisions, and it affected what the car did down the racetrack. And you saw it right away, because the time slip showed you. When we made changes on bikes, we thought it was good, and you thought it was good until you got to the racetrack and found out that you were behind the curve and you started getting smoked and you had to put it back and like, all right, I'm back. You know what I mean? Like, start seeing the lap times click down better. So that was the difference for me. And the dirt bikes, I still love them to this day. That's always been my heart. It's always been my heart. I still go watch Supercross racing. I take all the races online. Like when I get home, I TiVo them, or DVR them, and I watch the outdoor series and stuff like that. And I always been really good friends with James Malcolm, me and Malcolm talk all the time. Like he comes watches drag races all the time.
Does he
And I
really?
come watch
Malcolm
him.
Stewart.
Yes. And it's been awesome.
Bubba, that kid. I remember Antron the first time, I think he was 16 because he just started racing the 125 class at the time. He got his first 125 win, and I was the live announcer at that time on the stage, and he ran up and he celebrated. Remember that kid? He was just bigger than life. He'd be out there doing the sprinkler. He always had a new dance. Like that kid was just, he was so talented. Talk about personality, the total package. We miss him. We miss him so much, but I love seeing that Malcolm's still out there, still pushing it, trying to be part of it. And he's doing a heck of a job in the 450 class, but man, some memories with those guys.
Yes, just good people, good people, you know.
Yeah. Who's your all-time favorite Supercross rider?
Supercross rider, you know, I go way back when I grew up, you know what I mean? I used to love watching David Bailey.
Oh, yes.
David Bailey, before he got hurt, and he was always a good announcer. And then of course, you know, I used to watch like Ron Lachine, like Ronnie Tishner from Suzuki.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going old school because that tells you my age, you know what I mean?
Yes, I love it.
And then of course everybody always loved Rick Johnson and Jeff Ford. The Rick Johnson, Jeff Ford battles, you know, Jeff Ford going to IndyCar for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was there and I watched all of Jeremy McGrath back when he used to race for Pro Circuit with the Peak Days, the blue bikes, the blue and white bikes with Bryant Swank and all that stuff. That's when I was racing. You know, when I was racing hard, that's when I got like good. I raced in the Meadowlands and the Supercross deal.
That was early 90s, I think. That's when I learned about Supercross, but it was all Jeremy McGrath. He's the reason that I fell in love with the sport. I had such a crush on him, and still to this day, he's still my favorite rider.
Yes, he is no joke. What that man has done. He made the sport he made the sport grow twice as fast. Boom.
He did. And I'm sorry, Ricky Carmichael. He hates it that Jeremy's my favorite, but I love Ricky too.
Yeah, but you know what? Ricky is a machine. I call Ricky the Terminator. Like when everybody stepped up, he always found a gear. And that man left out on top. Like he left and he could still went the next year and race and competed for another championship if he wanted to.
Talk about heart. I mean, that guy, his body wasn't built to be a stellar athlete. He worked that hard at it. And to this day, he is like in the best shape of his life. And I'll tell you, he started out, he did some NASCAR. I wish we could have seen him do more because he's good at everything he races.
Yes. He would have been good at NASCAR. I just think that he wasn't with the right people, with the right folks.
Antron, it's been awesome. We're going to get you a nothing but cake. You just tell me the address, my friend.
Hey, I'm texting you my address soon as we get off. Hey, I love strawberry, girl. Strawberries
and cream is our feature flavor right now.
I like money. I got to have it.
That's why we work out. That's why we work out.
Yes, you gotta get the muscles, baby. Show them.
It's been fun, Antron.
Yes,
be well.
Baby. Will do. Thank you.